Chrissy Teigen. Taking the cake. Cooking and baking. Nobody else does this other than Homo sapiens. We cook our food and bake food, which provides us with a very wide range of foods to access, catering to every single palate that might exist, which leaves, for instance, the humble cow pretty pissed off just chewing on grass. But there we are. Baking is often taken very seriously, as is cooking. Look at the proliferation of programs that exist on television, the celebrity chefs that came into being over the last couple of decades, and of course the very popular Great British Bake Off, though it's not something that finds particular favour with me. But many other people very much enjoy it. And of course, many people have made careers out of this, from people who are chefs, from people who've set up bakeries, artisan ones, individuals that have embraced celebrity, people that have appeared on reality television shows like Hell's Kitchen, or as the aforementioned Great British Bake Off, and then have translated it into leverage off their success into creating a range of foods, a range of cookware, a range of perhaps restaurants and so forth. Now, as we know, Chrissy Teigen, she was involved in the world of cooking and baking, but it appears that just recently she's been behaving naughtily again. It comes as no surprise, of course, with regard to Chrissy Teigen because of her narcissism. But this time, she has been causing problems with regard to the Kiwis. Yes, those pleasant people from New Zealand aren't particularly happy at her behaviour. What's got their feathers ruffled, you might ask? Who has taken away the jam from their donut? Who has nicked the cake tin? Well, first of all, I go to something called The Spin-Off, which is a New Zealand publication, which, in an article by Stuart Soman Lund, tells me, The Caker versus Chrissy Teigen. It sounds straight out of some World Wrestling Entertainment, doesn't it? A timeline. In fact, I think we need to give that headline the treatment, don't we? The Caker versus Chrissy Teigen. A clash of culinary epic proportions. An ex-Aucklander transplanting herself from the lush green mountains of New Zealand to the United States, taking on a satellite dish-faced narcissist in The Cake Stakes. There, that's better. Now, what does the article have to tell us? New Zealand baker Jordan Rondell has accused American TV personality Chrissy Teigen of copying her range of cake mixes after the pair collaborated on a product together earlier this year. Better known as The Caker, Rondell started her baking brand more than a decade ago and has steadily gained an international following due to her range of easy and luxurious box mixes. She currently has over 75,000 followers across her Instagram platforms. It's been a big year for Rondell, who, as well as working with US celebrities and advancing her own business, appeared alongside Chef Peter Gordon as one of the new judges on the Great Kiwi Bake Off. Doesn't quite have the same ring about it as the Great British Bake Off, I have to say, but there we are. So, this has happened, wrote Rondell in a post on Instagram this morning, sharing a photo of her own range of cake mixes alongside Teigen's new elevated baking mixes. I've taken a week to try to process everything and could say a lot more, she said. I think you guys are right that this particular situation isn't chill, especially because we're just a small sister-run business. She added that Teigen was actually lovely to work with. Well, narcissists are invariably lovely to your face. To begin with, it's part of being seduced, and you can be seduced sexually and in a non-sexual way. It's only the most base of narcissists that would turn up and go, right, what the fuck's going on here? Call that a cake mix? This is a cake mix. You're useless. Get out of here. Instead, most narcissists would cozy up to you instead, flattering you, charming you, praising you, asking questions, and so on and so forth. The article continues. It all started back in February this year when Tegan Teigen, who has her own range of home and cookware, shouted out Rondell on social media. "At the Caker's flourless chocolate cake is so good," she said, posting a photo of her husband John Legend, posed next to the bake. Assertion of control through triangulation with person and object. Rondell told Stuff at the time that this was a surreal moment, and said that out of all the big-time celebrities that exist, she's the one we'd want to notice us. It seemed very natural. It appears that Tegan Teigen more than just noticed Rondell, as a few months later in September, the pair released a product together, a carrot cake kit. At the time of writing, the product is still available on the Caker's website, but is no longer listed as a collaboration with Tegan Teigen, although a photo of the two of them is used. On Tegan Teigen's own website, the listing no longer exists at all. Nullification of threat to control by silent treatment. I diss your mix. Rondell explained to Stuff that it was a quick decision to work with Tegan Teigen on the product. 24 hours after the shout-out, I was connected with her team, Rondell said. Within the next 24 hours after that, we were on to making a collaboration. It all happened pretty fast. Notice the similarities with the love bombing that goes on in a romantic relationship. Remember how Prince William said to Prince Harry, "Slow it down, our kid. It's going too fast." And similarly here, in order to assert control over Rondell, who is drawn into the fuel matrix of Chrissy Teigen, she moves at helter-skelter pace. It was only a few weeks later, the article continues, on October the 21st, that Tegan Teigen announced her new baking mix range would be released under her Cravings brand. We've made some of Chris's favourite Cravings recipes into a fun and easy baking mixes, so you can get to the best part more quickly, eating. A post on Instagram read. It's worth noting that Tegan Teigen's products aren't cake mixes, but rather include ingredients for things like banana bread and waffles. However, Rondell appears to be concerned by similarities between the imagery and fonts used by Tegan Teigen. Rondell's post about Tegan Teigen's products have drawn hundreds of supportive comments from her fans. "You're the real star rising," wrote TV personality Colin Mathura Jeffrey. "I'm embarrassed for her lack of basic integrity and honour in this situation." Another said it was obvious that Tegan Teigen had ripped off the Caker's designs. "Tegan Teigen sucks. I support you, the Caker, and we can all call her the Faker." Very good there. Rondell has also shared several Instagram stories with supportive comments from her fans. Tegan Teigen has yet to acknowledge the claims. However, it's not the first time she has been embroiled in drama with someone else from the food world. In 2020, American food writer Alison Roman accused Tegan Teigen of using her personal success to create a food empire in comments that were seen as being tinged with racist undertones. "What Chrissy Teigen has done is so crazy to me," she said. "She had a successful cookbook. And then it was like, boom, line at Target, boom. Now she has an Instagram page that has over 1 million followers where it's just like people running a content farm for her." Rondell told The Spin-Off she didn't want this to become a dramatic witch hunt and reiterated that Tegan Teigen had been incredibly lovely when they had worked together. "I think this is a case of her team taking way too much inspiration from me and hopefully Chrissy just being a bit too busy to do anything about it," Rondell said. "It was jolly generous of you. I knew she was going to release a line of baking mixes, so the line wasn't a shock, but the packaging has really got my customers and fans riled up." She added, "Among the stresses of trying every day to do what we do best, a business with a lot more power and resources taking such heavy inspiration from us, when all we got off from them after working on this collaboration for so long was a 1-month only deal, it was a bit disheartening." Well, it seems to me, the Caker, Miss Rondell, that you've been shafted by the behaviour of a narcissist who shouted you out, drew you in, seduced you, pinched your ideas, and then has passed them off as her own. Welcome to the behaviour of a narcissist. But there's more. Newshub.co.nz, with an article by Nick Trubridge, tells us a New Zealand entrepreneur at the centre of an online controversy involving celebrity influencer Chrissy Teigen has spoken out. The Caker's founder, Jordan Rondell, has taken aim at Teigen's brand Cravings, saying the designs on its pre-mixed cake packaging look too much like the Kiwi companies. It's the food fight that has social media in a frenzy. The humble Kiwi cake startup is in a feud with mega influencer Chrissy Teigen's company, Cravings. I want to address a bigger picture here, which is how the little guy can sometimes get stomped on by the bigger guy, Rondell said. Well, actually, although it is the bigger guy stomping on the little guy, it's the behaviour of a narcissist, and that's what you need to focus on. Rondell told NewsHub she knew about Cravings' plans to release their own cake mixes prior to the two companies' collaboration in September, but she's a bit miffed by the resemblance between the two products. A line of theirs came out and it just aesthetically looked very similar, Rondell said. She concedes the cake mix isn't exactly a new concept, Edmonds, Betty Croker, you name it, but Rondell also claims her take on a cake is a novel idea. We're talking about the concept of this elevated luxury version of this commodity and the way that it looks. Rondell questions whether Cravings could have made more of an effort to make their product look different. I don't want to say the word lazy or anything like that, but it did seem a bit like, come on, guys, she said. Again, if the caker understood about narcissism, she'd know full well what was going on in relation to this. But there is even more. Yes, this is also thrown into the cake mix, you might say, in this ongoing bun fight, where it's now the turn of the New Zealand Herald to add in. And they write, Chrissy Teigen hits back at Kiwi brand The Caker in Rolling Stone interview. Chrissy Teigen's team have addressed the conflict between her and New Zealand cake company The Caker. Earlier this week, Jordan Rondell, co-owner of the NZ and LA-based company, took to Instagram to call out Teigen's new baking kit that was released mere weeks after the two collaborated. Then repeats what she said previously about it not being particularly chill. Now, a Cravings representative, Teigen's baking kit brand, has directly addressed claims in a statement to Rolling Stone. Images posted on social media by the Caker team compared the front of our box and the back of their own, they said. The front of their packaging is different from the photographic approach we took, with their design trending to be a solid, bold colour, which is actually sleeve rather than the traditional box style we have used. The representative did not make any further comment. Rondell quickly posted the statement on her Instagram story telling fans she wanted to address it. Anouk and I, plus our amazing designers at DDMMYY Studio, specifically designed our packaging to have neither a front or back, much like a magazine which has two covers. In fact, she added, a lot of our retailers display them like this. The photo side is totally the front of you want it to be. Rolling Stone also spoke to Rondell, who continued to slam Teigen. The bigger story here is less so about what Cravings or Chrissy Teigen might have done to the Caker. It's more so how the big guy can stomp on the small guy so easily and walk away with more rewards than the small guy did in the beginning. Rondell and Teigen announced their baking kit collaboration on September the 15th, with the release scheduled to coincide with the supermodel and her husband John Legend's 9th wedding anniversary. Triangulation. Posting to her 39 million Instagram followers, Teigen shared a video of her and Rondell dressed in bathrobes, their hair wrapped in towels and their faces in full makeup as they whip up a cake in a cute 50s style kitchen. Teigen told her followers, "Ooh, I was so excited for this collab. This was so much fun to do. You guys are going to die. It's so delicious." And continued to give a shout out to Rondell, saying, "Thank you so much, Jordan, for doing this with me. We are so excited about it. It is so delicious. Everybody in our house loves it." The announcement of the successful collab was quickly followed by news that the kits had already sold out on cravingsbychrissyteigen.com. However, according to the Caker's website, they are available for pre-order. We know that Chrissy Teigen is a narcissist. And what she has done here is, through flattery, compliments, has in effect seduced, in inverted commas, Jordan Rondell to do a collaboration. Naturally, Rondell thinks, well, this person's much more famous, this is excellent, it gives us a boost, and therefore goes into it. Of course, operating with her sense of entitlement, lack of boundary recognition, and lack of accountability for her behaviours, and of course an absence of emotional empathy for people affected by her behaviour, Teigen's range pinches the various ideas and passes them off as their own, leaving the caker lying amongst the broken eggs and spilled flour. This is unsurprising. In the way that so many narcissists do, you're drawn in, you're used, and then you're cast to one side, either popped on the shelf or disengaged from. And of course, the social media observations of Jordan Rondell and the press coverage that she's received amounts as a threat to control. It's challenge fuel to Chrissy Teigen, who therefore, through her relevant company and spokespeople, responded to nullify the threat to control basically through denial. Nothing to see here, they're not similar, move on. And thus to nullify that threat to control through that form of denial. But it just demonstrates how the narcissist behaviour permeates all aspects of life, whether it's romantic, familial, social, and here in a business collaboration. And is another example of the way that Chrissy Teigen just uses people, commensurate with her narcissism, and how a victim of her narcissism doesn't actually realise what truly has happened. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.